Can you start a YouTube channel using only the DJI Osmo Pocket? In this video, I'll be reviewing this little camera and explaining why I think it might be the best first camera you can buy if you're doing like a travel vlog or any type of channel like that. So I'll explain the different channels that fit into this category, and I'll show you a lot more about this camera and actually a channel that I've started using only this camera. So there's a lot to talk about. It's a very impressive little camera for about $350. Shoots 4K 60, has an amazing little mechanical gimbal on it, and it's actually really one of a kind. So there's a lot to talk about in this video. Let's get into it. So it's important to note that I bought this back in December, and that's when most of the reviews were made. And so many months later now, DJI has released many firmware updates and software updates, so changes to the app and changes to the camera, so that now yes, it does have hyperlapse finally. Yes, it does have pro mode, so you can change the white balance in the camera, you can change the exposure in the camera. It also has a ton of other stuff like eye save, and I'll show you that later on in the video. But there's a lot to talk about this camera. You definitely don't want to miss this. Stick around for this entire video because there are so many different settings in here that are just absolutely amazing for the price point of this camera. So you might have seen a couple of reviews out there that maybe compare this camera to the GoPro or maybe to the newest DJI camera, but honestly this one is totally different and it deserves its own category because it doesn't just stabilize digitally like you might see. You don't need a massive mechanical gimbal that uses gravity on it. You don't need an electrical gimbal. This thing right here is literally just a drone camera mounted onto a little stick basically, and you can carry it around, capture amazing cinematic footage, and there are different ways you can stabilize it. So a lot of videos that I saw didn't even show this. There are 3 different stabilization methods for this one. So the first one is tilt control, and as you can see, I can turn this in any orientation I want. So if I tilt it like this, it stays level. Tilt it like this, it stays level. And the only thing that you can actually do is turn it this way. And so because of that, you end up with really nice smooth footage in any type of walking situation when you're bouncing around or rotating or anything. Holds it extremely still. The second stabilization method is called first person view, and the way you access it is by going down into the settings below and tapping that right there, and it goes into first person view. And first person view means that whenever you turn it, it essentially turns with the unit in every direction you turn it, but it'll either slow follow or fast follow, which you can control with this right here. So slow follow, you turn and you see there's a little more lag, so it just smooths it out a little bit more. Now the third way you can stabilize, tap that again and it gets follow. This is where it's really, really cool. So if you're following, first of all, you can turn it and it'll follow and make nice smooth footage, or you can actually plug in your phone and choose a subject to track, and it'll track a subject. So I could be walking around, and I'll show you that right now. You could be walking around and this will literally follow you, and it's almost like having a personalized cameraman. So really an amazing thing that this little camera can do. Like I said, it does so much more than you realize for just $350. So just to give you guys a quick tour of this device right here, you'll see that you have a 3-axis gimbal on the top, your camera lens is right there, then you have a little screen right there. It's fairly straightforward. You have a little adapter here that you can flip around and plug into your phone, and I'll show you that in just 1 second. Then you have just 2 mechanical buttons. One of them is going to recenter or turn it around, and the other one's going to be a record button. On the side you have a micro SD slot. On the bottom, USB-C to charge this, and that's literally all there is, except actually there is also a microphone on the bottom. So you want to make sure when you're filming you don't accidentally cover up the microphone. Keep your hand open or hold it from the side a little bit more like that. So before we get any farther in this video, if you're new here and you are starting a YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram or any kind of online influence, start your growth now by going down and clicking the subscribe button. My brother and I are putting out videos every single week. We have a very aggressive schedule this month. We're putting so many videos out to help you guys, and just free education here, guys. It's all about learning and helping you grow your channels as we try to grow our own. So the stabilization's cool, and it obviously shoots video and takes photos, but what else can this camera actually do? Well, from the main window right there, if you go over and swipe right, then you can go down and see not only do they have video, but they have slow motion right there, which when you go over again, you see you can do 1080p at 4 times, so essentially 120 frames per second slowed down to 30, so you get some really nice slow cinematic footage, and when it's stabilized, it's even more amazing and cinematic. So I'll show you some more clips like that in a second. The next one down is time lapse, and when you go down to time lapse, you'll see, again, there are 2 different ways you can do this. So you can have a still time lapse, which is really cool for a lot of, just B-roll, trying to enhance and show the audience what they're looking at, where they are, and speed up time or something, anything of that sort. But there's also a motion lapse, which is amazing because that's something you typically need a multi-$1,000 camera setup to do, and this little $350 camera just brings your video up to the next level instantly with a motion lapse. And essentially what it is a time lapse that starts in one spot and sort of pans over to the next designated spot. It's really easy to set this up. All you do is turn the gimbal to wherever you want the starting position to be, change this little knob on the side so you can go up or down. So we'll start up, and then you just tap the middle, then turn it to wherever the end position is and go down and do that. And if you're using mobile, you can actually set up, 3 or 4 different spots rather than just this one right here. Moving down, the last thing you have is panorama, as you see right there. Panorama has 2 different ways you can do this. These are just going to be still shots. You can do a 180 panorama, which your phone probably already does, or you can do a 3x3 panorama, which is just a very wide angle shot. It'll take, 9 total pictures and smash them together. 2 cool ways to take different photos for Instagram, if that's what you're looking for. But overall, this thing really excels with video. So some quick tips with this, if you're going to use it, you want to know that the right button here is going to be your way to go instantly to video or instantly to photo. No matter what you're in, it'll go to photo or to video. If you double tap it, it'll recenter. As you'll see right there, it'll recenter. And then if you triple tap it, it actually turns around into selfie mode and you can record yourself. So just cool ways you can flip between, whatever you're doing and then back to vlog mode, hold it out like this. Actually, you know what? We'll test the audio out as well to show you what vlog mode really looks like. So we're on Blue Mountain right now, and right now it's a little cloudy, but right before I started filming this, it was sunny and you could see everything. But you could see Mount Baker over there, you could see Canada, and you could see like all kinds of just mountains in every direction. You could see the ocean over there, or at least the bay. So really, really cool spot if it's not cloudy, although I feel like it usually is because you're at the level of the clouds. It's like 5,800 feet up here. Okay, so in order to track things, all you have to do is in the app, tap and drag a little rectangle around your subject, and you'll see a little green rectangle shows up around him, and it's in tracking mode. So if I set this down, you'll see it's going to track me no matter where I go. Sometimes it overshoots, so if I'm walking around talking, it's going to be following me as if it were just like a cameraman there. If you move fast, sometimes it overshoots though, like you saw right there. But overall, it's generally pretty good at following. You can change it from fast follow to slow follow. I always just leave it at fast when it's following me. And again, this is also the onboard audio, so you can see what the microphones sound like. I'm literally right in front of it. It's in front-facing mode, so it's important to note that it does sound better in front-facing mode. Actually, let's turn it around really quick. So when it's in rear mode like this, you'll notice the audio is not quite as good as it was when it was in normal selfie mode. So because the microphones are on the front, selfie mode is going to be the better audio when you're recording. So I want to show you guys how you actually connect this to your phone. So all you have to do is flip the little thing around so you have your adapter sticking out, and then this right here is USB-C. Like I said, there's also an Apple one, and then you just plug it in when you have the Mimo app open. You want to download the DJI Mimo app because there's a lot of DJI apps actually. So once you're in the app, I'll try to show it all right here. You have a little joystick in the corner. You can control where it's looking. And then over here is essentially where all of your main camera settings are between, this one and right there. So right there, you'll see you have your settings when you want to go follow, or if you want to do, first person view, whatever it is, fast follow, slow follow. Right here, you can change the quality of it. So if you want 1080 or 4K, and then with each one, you can change the frame rate. Unfortunately, you can't do super fine with 4K, so you can do 1080p super fine quality. If you hit the 3 dots, you get a lot of other options with, what kind of file format you want, if you want a grid, if you want anything, a ton of other stuff right there. And it's really cool how you can change all of that within the app. Now, as you go down, you have, time lapse, hyperlapse is another one that you can also access it from the little screen right here when it's not connected to your phone, but just showing you right here, hyperlapse is essentially just sort of like a fast forward. It's a time lapse where you're actually moving and walking around. And so typically you want to be in follow mode. So you're selected on a single object when you're going the whole time. So it stays, relatively in the middle of your video. iSave is cool because you can take a video and it instantly saves it directly to your phone. And so that's just something cool you can do. There's also beauty options right there, if you want to call them beauty options, whatever you want to call them, and it'll essentially change like your eyes and your nose and stuff like that. I don't ever mess with that. I don't take selfies with this, and if I do, it's a face beyond recovery anyway. So something that they're sort of pushing really hard in this app is in the top corner, a story mode. If you just tap the little colorful box, you'll see all these different stories that you can make, and you'll see right there, all it does is, so if we just say start, we can take several different videos. So we'll take one just kind of panning across this way. It'll say start. So we'll pan. So that was obviously a really bad one because I was using my studio right here. But if you go to preview, it essentially makes these little... So just kind of a cool thing that it does right there, where it makes these little stories for you and edits everything, automatically right on board. So there's probably like 10 or 12 different stories you can use right there. And honestly, they're all really cool if you want to post something to Instagram. It's just a fun little thing to do. Overall, I'm not using those on YouTube really. I usually do my own editing. Hopefully you're doing your own editing. But if not, it's just a cool thing, at least a fun thing to have on this camera. Something else to note here is if you turn it 90 degrees, it flips into portrait mode and it acts totally the same, except the camera is now vertical. So if you're doing Instagram videos, you definitely want to know to always use it this way. A little weird, you have to hold it sideways, but at least you get those really nice vertical shots. Also, within here, if you go down from the top, you have your settings up there, and then you can go and change just the basics of what your file format is, and then Pro mode you can turn on or off. So if you go to Pro mode and you turn it on, in the top corner you have this little icon, and when you go there you can change your exposure, and you can change your volume, you can change your color temperature. There's a lot that you can actually change with Pro mode just by going up to the top corner, and you can change tons of different things. So exposure, we'll just have auto right now. It seems to work very well with that. So now that the Osmo Pocket's been out on the market for quite some time, there are quite a few accessories out for it. When they first released it and when I actually first bought it, there were almost no accessories. I had to build my own tripod for it. But now that it's been out, there's tons of things you can attach it to. GoPro mounts now. There's different stands for it, and you can even have like Bluetooth mount for it, so you can connect wirelessly with your phone. That's great if you have a phone that maybe doesn't have USB-C and you don't have an Apple phone. You can try using Bluetooth. Overall, there's definitely a lot. This camera keeps impressing me, and I'm sure DJI is going to keep releasing updates for it just to keep making it more and more impressive. Definitely a great camera. I highly recommend this for any channel that is going to be a travel channel or a vlog channel or a channel that's just looking for some extra B-roll. Literally any style of channel could use this. If you're doing like a boring one just like this where you're sitting and talking, maybe then it's not the best camera to get, but it's still a great camera for almost any application at all. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the DJI Osmo Pocket. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below. I want to know, what are your thoughts on the DJI Osmo Pocket? Will you be buying one? Will you not be buying one? And if not, why not? Let me know what you're looking for that this thing does not have to offer. And as always, guys, if you want to find out more tips for starting a YouTube channel, we have a free PDF down in the description. Literally just click on it, download it, and use it as much as you want. Come back and comment and let us know what you think of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.